Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Lioness Den. Look, it is still Mother's Day month, and so we are continuing our journey into a mother's story. This morning, we are so blessed to have Miss Nicole with us. She's going to share her mother's story with us um, as we go along in this month. She is our third guest for our third installment of A Mother's Story. So let's go right into the Lioness Den. Hey, good morning again, guys, and welcome back to the Lioness Den. Look, today we have with us Miss Nicole. Hi, Miss Nicole.
Hi, everyone.
Miss Nicole is here. Why don't you introduce yourself, Nicole, to everyone?
Hello, everyone out there in the internet world. My name is Nicole Sharice Norwood by birth, and I just go by Nicole now. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Um, so this month, Nicole, we have been talking all month about a mother's story. Last week we had three generations in one room. A mother, a grandmother, and a daughter, and they're all adults. So it was a really good time. And so this week we are very happy that you're here with us. And we want to talk about your story as a mom. So
Okay.
why don't we just get right into it? Why don't you tell us your journey as a mom?
Okay. Well, my very first son's name is Christoph Joshua Hunter Requer. He was born January the 29th, 1999. At that time, I was
Woo woo,
married
January
to my
baby.
first husband. He is currently 24 years old. And actually, the neat thing about my first experience, he was born on his due date at going
Wow.
into 41 weeks pregnant. So I was overdue. He was delivered by a cesarean section in a downtown hospital, downtown in the city, which is no longer around. Maryland General Hospital is no
Wow.
longer around. They've converted it to University of Maryland Midtown Hospital. So he was born January 29th in the middle of the winter. It actually was on a Monday, very sunny day. I remember all the intimate details. His AVCAR test was like 9, and he was like about 21 inches long. Perfect little boy. Brought him home and loved on him ever since. And then in 2008, May the 19th, his brother comes along, and his name is Noah Paul Moses Jackson. So as you can see, I thought it would be very unique and different to name both of my sons with two middle names, because most moms have sons that have no names, middle names, or only one. If you notice that a lot, at least in American customs. Um, and even with Christoph, I knew right then and there his name meant bearer of Christ. And he always shared the love of God with other people, even when he was a child. I knew he was going to be a preacher in my spirit. Until this day, he does love God. Noah, his name means man of righteousness, and he too loves God. We're all Sabbath keepers today, loving on God. And my son will be 15, the youngest. So I always call them my two kings. So even with passwords and names like on the internet, when I think of them, I think of my two kings, my first creation and my second best creation, which is Noah. No offense, but it looks like Noah wins the game right now at Loving Mom. He definitely shows me a lot of love and compassion, and he's tenderhearted and kind. And he just landed his very first job, summer job, working
Ooh.
this summer, the day before Mom's birthday. I'm born July.
Yay.
I told him he gonna have money to take me out for my birthday in the month of July. It won't fall on my birthday because he'll be just starting to work. And he's gonna be doing really well starting out as a 15-year-old. So I am so proud of him for that. Um, when I think of my oldest son, I think of a person that has lots of potential. Um, he at about 10, when he was about 10, it was a lot for me to handle. And me and his dad had already divorced. So he wanted to live with his father. And from that journey, he had moved to Georgia and North Carolina. And then he settled back in Maryland and wound up graduating at North County High School. And hello, he wound up graduating in North County High School in Peach County. Everything went really, really well. And so he's transitioning. He's in that transitional period of his life right now where he's not sure what he want to do. He says he want to go to college. He looked like he haven't made up in his mind, but he's there. So at some point in some time, I'm believing God for a miracle when it comes to the trajectory of where he's going and where he's going. However, his brother is totally different. He knows what he wants. He's very interested in cooking and karate and kickboxing and computer science. And he's mixed up about what he wants to do, but he has some kind of idea that he wants to be rich. He tells me that all the time, even this past couple of days. Ma, don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. I'll never put you in a
Oh,
nursing home. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to buy you a house. When he was a little boy, he used to always say, Ma, I got a purse for you and I got a blue car for you. That
oh
is the
wow.
child. Um, they both, were perfect little angels, never had any defects, born healthy and strong, kicked me both vigorously for the both terms of my pregnancy. However, with Noah, he was delivered at 38 and a half weeks. So his due date was May 28th. But they said, well, Miss Nicole, we're going to give you another cesarean. And they had to put the fetal monitor on me, and I was going through some things. So he was wound up being cesarean birth as well. So I never experienced natural birth. And he was born at 38 and a half weeks. And we had a rough experience, me and him. It was just me and him. His brother had already moved out and went on with his dad. We were homeless together. We suffered homelessness. We suffered dadlessness. And even till this day, I am raising him without the dad because that is his choice. So it's been a journey. I think he's going to turn out to me to be the strongest of the two because he endured more hardship with me. We suffered some things together. Now today we have a great love language. We love praying together in the morning before he goes to school and saying scriptures. My son washes my feet on Sabbath, and I wash his feet for servitude. How many teenagers can you get to do that? So our love language is completely different than my other son. He's kind of very distant with me. I'm praying that it gets better as he get older. Um, I know that once my son to get about 18, I want him to get a driver's license. He already have a Maryland State ID. He's so ready for work. He's just becoming a little mature man. So I'm excited about his future. He was recently prophesied to at church, and even the lady said, "You're going to be a prophet. You're not like everybody else. You're different. Your brain is different." Even though he's the one has suffered really bad with not having his dad around. However, my oldest son always had his father around. So he's never really had a lot of male support. And that's been hard for him to navigate his emotions. He is very quiet and likes his little man cave. He stays to himself. And when he talks, he'll talk. And when he don't want to talk, he won't talk. He'll shut down. And maybe that's just normal for boys in general. Um, I love being both of their moms. My youngest always tells me that he loves me. And I have great expectation. I don't know. I guess I've been a nervous mom because I've been a single mom for a long time. And for me, it's like, wow, I just want to experience so much life with them. So I have big plans for Noah. I want to take us to opera one day. I want to take us to see what is it? The ballet company, the Black Ballet. Is it the ballet company in New
Is that
York?
The Alvin Ailey
Alvin
dances or something
Ailey
like that?
dances. Yes. Like I want to travel with him. We're starting to travel now on the train. So we haven't
Okay.
graduated to the plane yet. Neither one of us have been on a plane, but we've been on the train. We've been to New York. We've been to Philadelphia. Next year, I want to take him to Virginia Beach. Before he graduates from high school, he's going to do some things. He took a leap on financial stability yesterday and set up a cash app
Yeah.
account. He
Mm-hmm.
set up his first cash app account. He has his own credit union savings and college fund. So I'm trying to teach him, financial literacy and to be mature, and be responsible going into his teenage years. And, we got a lot of things that we want to do together. Um, and I'm not sure where else I need to
That's
go
okay.
from
I got you. I got you. I was waiting for you to finish your thought because we want to talk more about it's great moms. Okay, let's
Yes,
go here. Moms, we always talk about our children,
yes,
right? That's like
yes,
you ask a mom, the first thing they're gonna tell you about their kid, they're gonna pull out a picture, they're gonna do that.
yes,
As a mom with two boys, what do you
yes.
do to recuperate yourself, to build yourself up? What do you do for you?
Wow. That's funny because I think I have been self-sacrificing like most moms. You give up
Mhm.
yourself so much that just literally forget. I don't know if that's just a natural instinct that comes with us. Um, you forget because I know even with Noah, I actually experienced postpartum depression. I didn't think that could ever happen to me, but it did. It didn't happen with the first child because I had a husband and all of his family got involved in helping me to raise him. However, with Noah, nobody helped because his dad wasn't there. So I never met his dad's parents or grandparents. So it was just me, all of me. And then his family lived in Los Angeles. So we never met them. I think that was a disconnect. And I had just lost my mom, then my grandmother died. So it was hard for me when Noah came around. So I think that might have contributed to the postpartum depression. So now I'm finding a lot of joy now that they're older and they're maturing, and one day they'll be able to help take care of me as I'm aging. Um, I'm learning to just take my vehicle and take a long drive. Get my son from school and say, "Come on, son, let's go grab an ice cream together." Sometimes for me, I just need my space in my room just to get quiet, listen to music, unwind. Um, those type of things. Like to take a long hot bath with candles and music. That's what. But I am going to aromatherapy, and I'm planning to join a Zumba exercise class with my boss and some ladies. So I'm going to do some me time, but some women's empowerment time. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I know because as moms, this is, mom's month right now. And a
Yes,
lot of times we get very caught up in our kids. We really do. But if we don't take the time to take care of ourselves and to wind down and to breathe, just get those, if you remember when we had Life Happens last year, Miss LaDon said,
yes,
just breathe in and
yes,
breathe out. If we don't take
yes,
those times to just do that, sometimes we become overwhelmed. But
yes,
we still feel good because we're taking care of kids. It's our
yes,
kids.
yes,
And that's the thing about a mom is at the end of the day, her first priority usually is her children. And so
yes.
she will deal with, like you said, homelessness. Tell us more about your story because you said a lot in a little bit of time and you
Yes,
kind of glossed
yes.
over some
I
of
feel
it.
like a
But you said,
champion of courage. Yeah, I feel like a champion of courage, Sister Lydia, because I survived homelessness. I've survived raped in my day, divorce, manlessness, fatherlessness. Now that both of my parents and both sets, maternal and paternal parents and grandparents, are not here to celebrate Noah being their grandchild or great grandchild. That's difficult. But the Lord replaced that with other people. So I have a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Clark here in Baltimore. They're very loving. They kind of scooped me up and made me their daughter. My boss's family have overwhelmed me with love. They love me, my boss, her husband, her children, and her parents. And they all come into my graduation celebration. That's another thing I would like to contribute to my mother's journey. I took a leap of faith at 41, 42, and went back to college at night. And now I'm sitting pretty with my Associates of Arts in Early Childhood Education and about to earn my cum laude honors AAT degree on June 4th, 2023 at 1:30 with CCBC
Yay.
Essex. So that took me 6 years because it was part-time at night. I was terrified. I tell you no lie, Lily, some days I'm getting home from labs 11:30, 12 midnight. When we were homeless, do you know I still went to college?
Oh,
I was
wow.
living in a shelter and they had no rooms for me. And they said, this is really for teenagers. But because you have a child and I see you going to school and you're persevering through your homelessness, we're going to let you stay here until you get yourself together. And that man permitted me to come in there late at night, coming in from college. My son was on a bus, had to be transferred from the shelter to the school because we were homeless. I'm telling you, I made good use of that McKinley Veto Act under at that time under President Obama. I utilized all my resources and just armed myself with education and knowledge at that time. And I went to work. I did not give up. So tenacity is what I think it's like my middle name. And
It
I
sounds
consider
like it.
myself a fierce warrior, but none of that would have taken place without God, without the right set of
Absolutely.
angels and people in my space. Even you, Lydia, you've come in as a fresher
Oh,
breath air to help me release my voice and my pain through some of these struggles and ups and downs. And everything triumphantly still comes around to I attribute it all to God. My mother journey is a tribute to the Father, really. But through all of that, I didn't give up, and I'm so happy. And that's a testament to my children. And life is rough. Life will have its ups and downs. And yes, there's no such thing as all bed of roses. There are going to be thorns, but we got to keep on dancing in the rain. You know, dance in the rain and
wow.
dance in the sun at the same time. Don't give up is my message. And I hope I can be an inspiration to any woman, single or married. And I've been through all of them. And I've been lonely to me more as an adult, even in marriage. That's a horrible feeling to feel alone and still trying to raise your children and take care of them to the best of your knowledge. Tomorrow, I'm just excited about him turning 15 as if when he was on his first birthday. So every year I try to go out my way to make his day, to celebrate him, to always remember him, to let him know that life is important and love is important. And having a relationship with your mother is something you cannot change. Just looking at that lioness with the cub and thinking about every form of nature, they all have a bonding and a nesting with the mom. Everything in life,
Absolutely.
everything
Yep.
in life. So there's no such thing as really people, human beings should be abusive and abandoning their children and neglecting their children and mistreating them because nature knows how to do that so easily. So why shouldn't they? You know?
Yep. Yep. And that's the thing. A lot of times, um, people say, well, they had to take the kid from the mom, but the bond that a mother
Yeah.
has with the child is so different than any other
Yes.
bond. It's truly something wrong
Yes.
when a mother kid is not taking care of a kid.
Yes.
When they, it's a difference when they're
Yes.
just someone takes the kid, but when a mother decides that they don't want their
Yes.
child for various reasons, that
Yes.
happens. And so that
Yes.
bond, sometimes it leaves the kid looking for just that bond. And so to have the bond with your
Right.
kid, I understand what you're
Yes.
saying. I have one daughter.
Right.
I'm a single mom with
Yes.
one daughter, and we are like two peas in a pod, as you've seen, because you've seen us
Exactly.
traveling together. When I go, she go. The
Yes.
song says, "When I move, you
Yes.
move," just like that. That's me and her. When I move, she moves,
Yes.
just like that. We work
She your
in
mini me.
concert. Yeah, we work in
Yeah.
concert. I
That's
do a lot of
wonderful.
traveling for business, and she travels right with me anywhere I'm going. I
Amen.
know that she is right there with me, and not only does she
Right.
travel, but she works with me. Um, a little story that happened just this week. She was in school, and she said the coach said, "You work all the time," and she said, "I learned it from my mother." That's what she told him. I
Wow.
learned it from my mother because that's
Yes.
what we do. We work, and when we teach our kids to work, you find that they have better ethics in their lives.
Yes, they do.
They're more ethical people. When you just described the difference between your two sons, and that was an interesting comparison, because you were
Yes.
saying Noah, definitely that he is going to go in a certain vein because he's been with you.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
basically, he's been with you, so he's had the
Right.
opportunity to learn directly from you that work
Right.
ethic, that keep pushing
Yes.
it. And that's one of the
Yes.
things we do as moms.
Right.
We teach our kids. You talked about your journey in college. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit how you ended up going to college in your 40s, because I'm doing the same right now. As you
Yes.
know, we
Yes.
talk a lot.
You
I'm
know
doing the
what? The
same.
one thing is when everybody died, I had to give birth to something else. I know that sounds a little awkward. Maybe it doesn't. But Maya Angelou always pressed me. She said, I don't think you're supposed to like let the wall speak for you. But she had some powerful words in a lot of her books. One of being the phenomenal woman, when a cage bird sings. I love Maya because she's always so poised and so colorful with her language that she's taught me to kind of just come out of my shell. She helped me revive some things. And it seemed like when all my family members were dying, I was very sad. I was very depressed. And my grandmother was like my conjoined twin. When she died, it's like a piece of me died. But I needed to give birth to something else to help me breathe out life and get my mojo going and get my energy going, my synergy going, get all of my strength and vitality back. So they always said, you know what? And I never lived up to it. My mother and my grandmother, all of them was like, even co-workers, you're a teacher, you're a teacher, you're a teacher. And like most of us, when you're in your 20s, you don't listen. You go your own way, you go your own direction. And when they all died, I said, you know what? I need to take a leap of faith and step out. I am a teacher. I didn't want to embrace it, but maybe now it's my time to embrace it. And I felt like their spirit was just whispering and echoing in me to just go back to school and see what would happen if I got certified as a teacher and got the proper education. And now I've landed such a great job and it's working in my favor. I've been excelling. And I would definitely say I'm walking in my purpose. So going back to college helped lift every voice in me, helped me to get my life back. Whenever I would write a paper, I would often reflect about my grandmother or my mother. A story would come to mind because their parenting and their mothering contributes a lot to things that you do when you are an educator and you're writing things because you have to talk about your experiences with families and children and customs and traditions and things that you've done. And I'm telling you, when I went back to school, it was scary, but it was so
Mhm.
worth it. And then the longer I went at night, it got easier and easier and easier. And then it just like I had this tough time, where I couldn't get my degree because they wanted me to have a practice score. And I didn't have that practice score. I couldn't afford it. And then I found out Larry Hogan had a program that anybody lost their job during the pandemic. He was giving out free money to help you continue your education. And I called CCBC and they said, yes, that's true. And I continued to go. Do you know I actually took 8 online classes in the year of 2021 while I taught my son 7th grade? Now, if I didn't expand my own width, I don't know what did I do. Like most of us, I think we will all expand to our capacity
Mm-hmm.
around 21 because that was the year that we all had to sit at home with our children and try to find out how we was going to navigate our normalcy when it was so abnormal. And I'm 8 classes, you hear me? And those 8 classes got me a good paying job today on top of everything else I've done afterwards. And I feel really good about it. And I know that was God's mercy. I know it was his grace, it was his favor, it was love, and it was their voices speaking into my existence. You can do this. All things are possible to them that believe. Luke, I believe
Yes,
it's Luke
ma'am.
137 in the Bible, as a matter of fact. So it's not the first time. It wasn't going to be, it's not going to be the last time. I'm destined to be a lifelong learner. And I'm destined
Yes.
to let my print rich media environment give back. All of the things that are in me is coming out of me, even my voice to speak in ministry. Um, God is good. I went and visited a church on Mother's Day where they honored mothers last week. And the pastor, it was my boss's pastor. He was like, come on, girl, and sing. Come on up here to this praise and worship team and get on board. I hear your voice. I heard you the first time you visit us. And I told you then I wanted you to come back and sing. And today is your day. He asked me 3 times to come up and sing before service was out. And I'm like, wow, I feel so honored, not because he said it, because that's who I am. I am a songstress. I am a worshiper. I love exalting his name. I love giving birth to words. I'm also a spoken word artist
Ah,
and a poetess. A lot of people don't know that about me. And I model. I have in the past. And there and I want to write a book of poetry like Maya Angelou. So she's been my source of inspiration. But as you know, this young, beautiful Amanda Gorman is like the new Maya Angelou. And I love her too. She's a great poetess. So anyway, I have some more ambitions, things as a mom that I want to get cleaned off my slate that has nothing to do with me parenting my boys, but I have a lot to do with me just celebrating myself. But I think
yes.
it'll help me stronger. And I have a beautiful poem that I wrote called "My Chocolate Child," um, that I attributed to my oldest son. So if you would like for me to perform it or give it, I can share it if you like.
Well, before we close, that can be your inspiration at the end. How
Okay.
about that? How
Okay.
about that?
All right.
Now,
Sure.
let's go to you say your inspiration, who the women in your life gave you inspiration
Yes.
by pushing you forward. Can you tell us one of your best memories of your mom or your grandmom where they inspired you, where what they said inspired you to move forward?
I'm gonna go way back, and it was just that deep. I have
Okay.
kind of like 2 things that's sticking out in my mind, and
Okay.
I'm quite sure you have these moments, Lydia, because we were both raised by beautiful Black women, and
Yes,
we know
ma'am.
every culture do something different. Well, the first thing was I'll never forget when I was 11. I got the chicken pox, like most of us probably experienced the chicken pox. Now, my mom and my dad is not raising me. My grandmother took on that challenge. So my mother was already going through a domestic violence relationship. So she wasn't in her mental state of mind to help raise me. Like you said, sometimes parents love you, but they have this pause. So that
Mm-hmm.
pause has frozen their motherhood. So they can't give you anything. So anyway, that when that pause occurred, my grandmother just took the rounds of being my mother. And so I got the chicken pox. I was covered head to toe. You can't see one of them today because of my beautiful grandmother, Geneva Plummer. That was her name. And you know why? Because she covered me from head to toe with oatmeal paste that she made homemade. She
Oh
didn't have
wow.
calamine lotion at the time. She didn't have nothing from the market or the pharmacy. She made her own home remedy, like we know our black people did. They come up their own concoctions. And what does God do? He be all up and through it, and He makes you better. He makes you beautiful as a result. So, who are the best doctors and best pharmacists and best herbalists and naturalists in the world? Black people. Yes, we are the ones. And my grandmother
Honey.
loved me from head to toe. I had them so bad, literally, they was all in the scalp of my head. They were in the insides of my ears, inside of my mouth, every orifices, every open space. I had them really bad at 11. Now, can you imagine in the middle of the winter time? I'm in the middle of the winter. Snow is up to whatever yin yang. This is 1981, and my grandmother could barely get out to get me to the hospital. And I mean, she covered me. And they were horrible. They were itchy. I was fighting the itch. And you know how it is. I don't want to get real
Mhm.
grotesque with describing what they're like, but if you burst them, it's a lot of pus will come out. And I'm telling you, she managed to get me to the hospital. And after I got better and well, I looked at my skin. I couldn't believe I woke up and there was not no scars. And even the little scars I had, she, kept giving me the baths and the oatmeal pastes and the cocoa butter and the aloe and whatever the Lord told her to do to help my skin heal. I can't erase that memory. Who could have been there? Who could have been that type of
Mhm.
intuitive smart brain with a woman with a sixth grade education that could
Right.
barely read and write, but she knew what God told her and she did it. So that was 11. And then the other powerful moment is when I was 14. I was just got accepted into, back then it was junior high school. So
Mm-hmm.
junior high school was 7, 8, and ninth grade. So by ninth grade, I didn't have to stay at my junior high. I moved on to high school because I got accepted at Weston. So I only stayed at my junior high for 2 years, and I moved on to high school from 9 to 12 back then in 1984. I got real depressed. Just that's what kids do. They, like you said, it's nothing like a mother's love. I craved my natural mother. My grandmother was not enough for me. It was something about my mother I needed, and she wasn't giving it to me. And I got really, really depressed, and I was suicidal. And I talked to my grandmother a lot about my emotions and my feelings. But she said, baby, as hard as it is, I know you're going to be great. And at that time, my high school slogan was destined to be great. We're the class of 1988. I said, Grandma, you talking my language. She said, baby, you just put 1 foot, 2 foot out of the bed and don't look back. Life gets better when we stand up and start walking. Laying in the bed never gets nothing done, so you might as well go to school. That was her motto. You weren't going to stay home anyway. She wasn't going to let you. So, Alice Mender Hughes was the superintendent at that time, and it was no such thing as missing school. She would open
Honey,
Baltimore City Public School. There'd be 0 degrees outside,
don't you
Lydia.
know? I know.
Sister, I don't know what year you came out, but Alice Mender Hughes was a no joke superintendent
Yes,
back.
she was.
So I can say that most people at my age would tell you they ain't missed no school. We ain't missed no school as no teenagers
Mm-mm.
because it wasn't gonna be no such thing. Your parents put you in one of them big old snowsuits and wrap you up real tight. They take you to school, put you on the bus stop, and off you went. And you made it back. You actually made it back alive. You can't believe you was out there and all that stuff. But
Yep.
you know what? I appreciate the push. I appreciate the love. I appreciate her motivating me beyond myself. And she used to tell me, when nobody's around, mama and daddy may not be here to love you and support you, but you got granny. You always got me. And I'm telling you, that's how I dealt with it. That was the hardest thing. But that woman never gave up on me. My mother and father didn't give her any child support. She struggled to feed me and put clothes on me and send me to a lot of youth functions. But guess what? Nobody could tell me I didn't have the best teenage life. I wore leather. I wore suede. I wore faux fur. I went to all of the banquets that my grandparents went to, all of the fancy events. They took me like your daughter. I traveled with my grandparents. Everywhere they went, I went, and I had the best life. And on the weekends, or my grandmother would say, "Oh, you know what you got to do? You got to do your chores on the weekend because you know where we going." I said, "Really?" Shopping. That's all you had to tell me. We was going shopping was my favorite hobby to do on the weekend. And she went to Naturalize and I went to my favorite stores. And what we would do is meet up at Hat Company. That was the favorite thing back then. Hat Company at the red dot shoe sales. And we would buy
Wow.
our shoes, our pocketbooks, our clothes, our Norton McNaughton suits and all the designer clothes and whatever I wanted. And that shopping experience was the way I bonded with my grandmother on the weekend. We go out to King's Court back then and eat dinner, and we go to the market and we go to the shops and we relaxed and we had the best fun. And I cherished her to the day she died. And I had promised her, I said, "Grandma, I love you so much. Uh, I'm going to do something the Lord going to put in my spirit to do something." And you know what that something was? When she was 75 in 1994, all by myself, I orchestrated her 75th birthday party at the Forum. And
Wow.
99 people showed up out of 100. Yes, they did, to honor my grandmother. And I wrote a poem to her saying, "You are my royal diadem." People brought her all kinds of gifts, presents. I brought her diamonds and pearls because pearl was for June. Her birthday, as a matter of fact, would be June 18th. And she was born 19. So as you can see, she would be well over 100 years if she was still alive today. As a
Wow.
matter of the year she died, which was 2009, she would have been 90 in 2009. So 2019, she would have been 100, right? So here we come,
Mm-hmm.
what, about 4 more years later, she would be about 104 years old today if she was still alive. But that was the best granny in the whole wide world. And everybody loved her. You couldn't beat it. You just had to live with it, love it, and take her for what she was worth. And that woman, she was, I would never tell my mother this, but she was better than my mother. She was better than,
Oh, wow.
you know why? Because she was emotionally available. She was
Mm-hmm.
emotionally available. My mother was a beautiful spirit too. Don't get me wrong. She had a moments when her motherhood helped me as I became a woman because she had a lot more to give. She suffered some things, so she had a lot more to give. But my grandmother was my solid rock. I could rely on her. I could count on her for everything, and she just a unforgettable soul. So that's what kept me together. Really, she helped instill my moral base, my spiritual base. She gave me a lot of love. We traveled. She never abandoned me and took me for granted. And you know what she did, Lydia? A lot of women don't do this. She never left me alone with a man that could have possibly raped me or molest me. We couldn't. Well, nope, nope,
Wow.
nope.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, but nope. Can't go to their house this week. Nope. We're not going over the next
Yep.
door neighbors. I didn't realize I was mad with her because I always wanted to be with my friends, but she was protecting me because she
Right.
knew what what was outside. I think that contributed to my virginity as well as a teenager. So that's a beautiful shit.
Yeah, a lot of times we as young women especially, we just want to do everything, and our moms and grandmothers,
Yes.
they really shield us from the wolves
Yeah.
at the door, because the wolves are at the door sometimes, especially for our
Exactly.
girls. And so, we
Exactly.
don't even know
Yes.
what's out there, but they're saying, no, don't go that way. And it has saved a lot of us from some
No.
heartache and headache
Yeah.
down the line that we could have could have run into. Nicole, you won't
Yeah.
believe this, but we're 40 minutes in
Yes.
already. Is that
Oh
amazing or what? We're
wow.
already 40, right?
I
We're already
think
40
we're
minutes
enjoying the
in.
conversation. Yes,
Well, see,
yes,
that's the
we're
whole
enjoying the
point of the
conversation.
lioness den is that you can stay calm and just enjoy this time that we're talking. A lot of
Yes.
times we don't get, as women, we're
Right.
so busy, we don't
Yes.
get the time to just sit down and share, just to sit down and share. And so that's what it's
Exactly.
about here. That's why uh
Right.
the motto is a real place
Nobody
to
makes you
chill.
feel like a superstar. Yeah. Nobody
Nobody.
makes you feel like a superstar, really. We are the local celebrity that gets overlooked. By the way, just mothers in
There you go.
general.
There you go. Mothers, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yes. So we're gonna get ready to close out,
Yes.
but this is where you can share your poem with us.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Okay. Guys, while she's getting her poem, look, don't forget we're coming up next week with Miss Ronnie Maddox on A Mother's Story. Also, we have in the upcoming weeks mid-year check-in. It is going to be mid-year check-in with Miss Adrienne Holloman. It's coming up very soon. This June, second week in June, we have midweek checkup, mid-year. I'm sorry, checkup, mid-year checkup. We're gonna go in and talk about your goals. So you've had goals that you started and you might be midway through. Mid-year checkup, let's talk about it. What have you completed that you had on your list as a goal, and where do you want to go next? So let's not miss this session with the dream coach, Miss Adrienne Holloman, coming up on June 10th. It's a Zoom session, so you will have to register for this mid-year checkup with Miss Adrienne Holloman. I think Miss Nicole is back. There she is.
And
So we're
having
going to hear
difficulty
from Miss
finding
Nicole.
it. Having
Okay.
difficulty finding it. Goodness grief. It's because I want to share so much. But I got something else to share instead. How about that?
Okay.
Something
Let's
just
go
as
for it.
powerful. And
All
it's
right.
all penned by me. So this is so I'll in closing for our Mother's Day journey with you today, the Lioness Den. I have an original poem called When God Made My Honeysuckle Skin. When God made my honeysuckle skin, he saw awesome, not awful. He saw beautiful, not bashful. He saw charismatic, not conceited. He saw determination, not desolation. He saw emergence, not eagerness. He saw friendly, not foe. He saw my fresh anointing, not a foul spirit. He saw giving, not greedy. He saw heaven, not hell. When God made my honeysuckle skin, he saw important, not irrelevant. He saw Jesus, not Judas. He saw kindness, not cave. He saw labor, not lazy. He saw meticulous, not malevolent. He saw noble, not needy. He saw opulence, not oppression. He saw priceless, not petty. When God made my honeysuckle skin, he saw a queen, not queer. He saw righteousness, not ruthlessness. He saw selfish, not selfish. He saw tenacity, not tired. He saw urgency, not useless. He saw victor, not victim. He saw warrior, not weak. He saw X chromosome, not X rated. He saw yield, not yearn. He saw zealous, not zany. When God made my honeysuckles.
Wow, that was awesome.
Thank
That
you.
was really, really good, Nicole. I
Thanks.
thank
It
you
was
for
the
sharing it.
ABCs and the contrast and the compare and contrast of life. So that's what I was thinking about the ABCs.
When God made my honeysuckle skin.
Right. He only
That was
saw
wonderful.
good. He didn't see anything imperfect in his creation is the bottom line.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Nicole, you
Thank
have been
you.
a breath of fresh air today. I have to tell you,
Thank
I've
you.
really enjoyed this conversation with you. Thank you for coming and sharing with us.
Yes.
Everybody, please, check Nicole out. She has, can you name your group for us?
Yes, we are the Queen Sisters. We host our live Zoom session every Sabbath at 10 a.m. We have a password that you get in along with a Zoom code that can be sent to you via text link or Facebook or your email address. Um, and you can come and sit in with the Queen Sisters and enjoy a very active Bible study. Sometimes we do something called Queen Sisters Speak, where we're speaking out against human trafficking or rape or police brutality, issues that are involving women or just world culture, in general. So we would love to have you join us and celebrate women all around the world.
Yes. And you can find Nicole on Facebook at Nicole. I don't know how to pronounce your last name,
Yes,
Nicole.
it's Nicole Requer. When you go to www.facebook.com/ Nicole NicoleRequer, and you can also email me at noahsmartguy4@gmail.com.
There you go. So if you would like to join the Queen Sisters group on Saturday morning, every Saturday at 10 a.m., please, uh, her email and her Facebook will be on the bottom, scrolling across the screen. Please copy it down and join the Queen Sisters one Saturday morning. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to come back next week where we'll have Miss Ronnie Maddox. Also, we have two sessions coming up after the first week in June and the second week in June. The first one in June, the first weekend is our mental health checkup. And that is going to be on the first Saturday in June with uh, Ebony Vaughn, LaDawn Bridges, and Adrian Holloman. And then on the second Saturday in June, we will have our mid-year check-in with Miss Adrian Holloman, the Dream Coach. Now, this session will not be on Facebook, ladies. It will not be on Facebook, gentlemen. So you do have to register at the link that is on the Lioness Den. So click over there and just click the link, fill out the registration form, and we'll see you on the second weekend in June. Look, thank you again for joining us as usual here on the Lioness Den. We are so happy to have you with us. There we go. Got a little off for a minute, but I'm back. We are so happy to have you with us. Look, and we will see you next Saturday with our final installment of A Mother's Story. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everybody.